Hey, what's good? Mark Davis is a United States Air Force veteran, a small business owner, a wonderful family man, and is a man hell-bent on fixing that little twitch that happens in your body every time a story begins with, and in other news, a Florida man. Mark Davis is running for the U.S. House of Representatives for Florida's 16th District. C4 Explosives joins me in this conversation with Mark Davis. Before we get into it, remember to go to coconutjustice.com to get you some clothes that I think would look good on you. Let's go. Hey, everybody, welcome back. This conversation is going to happen with a young man, and we're gonna figure out if he gets nervous when the news reports say a man from Florida does fill in the blank. You guys, welcome to the channel, Mark Davis.
Hey y'all, how's it going, guys? Appreciate you having me.
Welcome to the channel.
Appreciate
you know him. You know him. You love him. There he is. C4 Explosives, y'all.
What's cracking, y'all? You're too kind, Carlos. You're too kind.
I have to be patient with you guys from Florida because I don't know what it is about Florida. Y'all be tripping. So my first question is exactly that. Mark, do you get nervous when people start a story with Florida man blank?
Not anymore, man. You know what I'm trying to do is trying to reinvent the Florida man. All right, and we're trying to bring a little bit of common sense, a little bit of decency back to the Florida man. So I actually embrace it. Yeah, I'll take it. You call me Florida. All right, I'm the new Florida man.
There we go. There we go.
Between, were you born in Florida? You originally?
No, I was originally born in Indiana, where I was born.
That's Central. Why you're cool. All right.
Sure, yeah.
You guys hey, Indiana might be taking our Bears.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
That'll be the worst decision the McCaskies have ever made.
Well, did you see IU football team, college? They're undefeated right now, ranked number 1.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, Indiana's a machine when it comes to making athletes.
Yeah. Football and basketball.
Basketball,
yeah. So yeah. I grew up there. I lived there for about 27 years, I think. And from there, I was in the military. And while I was in the military, I was in the Air Force Reserves.
Oh boy!
What were you?
Boy, I was Army. I actually did real Army stuff.
Yeah. I just did a coffee meeting with a 3-time Trump supporter. Okay. Yeah. And he reached out to me and he said, "Hey," and I don't know if you know my videos, but I'm not very sensitive to MAGA at all. I'm kind of going right through the chest of MAGA. But anyway, he reached out to me and he said, I'm tired of Trump. And he's a 3-time Trump supporter. And we sat down and he's voting for me, for Congress. So that was pretty special. But anyway, he was in the Air Force. So we started talking about the Air Force and how great that branch is. And we did come to an agreement that the Air Force is the best military branch. So I don't know. It's not
C4. Hey, C4, you see what he did, right? He said, I sat down with someone from the Air Force and we concluded that Air Force is the best.
Yeah, I mean, they do get to fly, man. Come on, man. They fly. They had them Top Gun, bro.
Hey, what is Indiana public school system like?
The Indiana
public school. They make you not see the light.
We're not smart in Indiana. We're just homegrown farm boys. We don't really know much, but yeah, man. But let me tell you a quick story about the Army and the Air Force, and then we'll get back on it. But I was at a location. It was like a training. I think we were in Volk Field, if I remember right, which is in Wisconsin. But anyway, it was rainy, okay, and we were with the Army, and there was the Air Force there, okay, and there was mud, right. And on the Air Force side, we decided to lay down pallets so that we didn't have to walk through the mud, right? And then on the Army side, they just walk through the fucking mud. You know,
Yeah.
so that's kind of
Why
the
else
difference.
did you join the Army? Why else did you join the Army? Play in mud and shoot things. What are you kidding me? Did you break a nail when you went over those pallets?
I probably did. Yeah. Air Force. No. I learned a lot.
Thank you for your service.
You too, man. I appreciate it. But while I was in the military, I was kind of building a career. I was going to school. I worked for a company called Menards. You're probably not familiar with Menards. It's kind of a Midwest.
Big money with Menards.
We're both from Chicago.
We're both from Chicago, man.
Yeah. So Menards is all over Chicago.
And we had to deal with Indiana people all the time too.
Yeah. So I worked for corporate Menards. So I ran like one of the departments for the entire company, and was in charge of about like $1.3 billion worth of business, and sat across from the CEO. I knew John Menard, flew in private jets, all that good stuff. And I lived there for about 10 years. And then we moved to Florida about 3.5, 4 years ago. So that's where we're at now.
So you had a lot of really good things going for you, and then you moved to Florida.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because so my parents live in Florida, in Parrish, Florida, where I live. Mm-hmm. And we moved down here so my kids could be closer to their grandparents. And I did well at Menards, and I was ready just to kind of, move down to where I thought was paradise, and this was after Biden had won. And I would never had imagined that Trump was going to win again. I mean, we're talking about a man that, tried to steal the election, that is a 34-time criminal, is a proven rapist. There's a really good suspicion that he raped children. I mean, and then this man won again, right? And that's what just kind of set me off. And I just kind of snapped one day and just started firing off on the internet, and was able to grow my following base pretty large. So we're kind of using that platform and kind of taking it to hopefully win, or will win, the congressional seats in District 16.
So what was that transition like to go into politics? Because I mean, you're already pissed off, and you're already building a platform where you're like, I might as well stand on my platform and handle business. I mean, like.
Yeah, and it became something that I couldn't even, like, if I wasn't doing this right now, I'd be going crazy. It's all I think about. And people say, you have TDS. Yeah, sure, whatever. I got Trump derangement syndrome. Who cares? Because if you don't have Trump derangement syndrome, you're not
paying
really
attention,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You're not paying attention. So if I wasn't doing this, in all honesty, I wouldn't. I would be going crazy. So I decided that either I'm just going to go crazy, or I'm going to invest all my time and build a movement, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I decided to do. And I don't. Are you guys familiar with the platform Threads? Threads, like it's like the Twitter version of
Facebook.
Taylor says you're the king of Threads, man.
Yeah, man. But I was tearing it up, so I just started to just blast off on Threads, right? And then about 6 months later, I had like 50,000 followers. And then on Facebook now, I'm approaching 50,000 followers. On Instagram, I got 40,000. On TikTok, I got 12,000. So we're approaching over 200,000 followers right now, and we're getting like 30 million views a month.
Oh, how many constituents would you be serving once you take office?
So we would be covering all of Manatee. Okay, all of Manatee County, and then just a little bit of Hillsborough. So just a little sliver of Hillsborough, but that's up now. And then it sounds like DeSantis is talking about redoing the congressional maps in April again, I guess.
Yeah, I heard something about that. He's not even, apparently he's trying to combat what, I'm in California, and Newsom put that up on the ballot, and it passed overwhelmingly.
Right.
And apparently Ron DeSantis wants to put his cute little white boots into the mix.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he's talking about doing that.
Yeah, I mean,
because,
it's just
because if your platform, what I've learned is if you're a politician and your platform is very robust and is going to make a lot of change. What you want to do is move things around, because everything you say makes sense and everything you say is going to work. So then you have to play tricks, right?
Yeah, I think that's what Donald Trump has been doing this entire time. He's been trying to put his people into high election roles. You know, if you pay attention to what he's doing to the midterms alone, he is doing some devastating things already to the midterms. But yeah, what Florida is doing and what Ron DeSantis is talking about doing, going against California. You know, California went against Texas. So I mean, that's a wash there. In my opinion, all they're trying to do is force a win when they know they have a very hard road ahead of them. And I don't care if they're in the reddest of states right now, they are shitting bricks because they have no agenda. They are all rubber stamping one man's policies. So and if they're not popular, so they're going to try to cheat to win. And what I say is bring it on. I don't care. You could chop up the state however you want to do it. I'm going to win because I am talking to the people.
Yes,
and I'm speaking exactly about what the people want.
And that's why we've been developing this format, is because we want to hear directly from you. We don't want to hear bullet points. We don't want to hear what Fox News told you or what Heritage Foundation told you to say. We don't want that.
No, and people are tired of that. And I think that's one of the reasons that my social media has done so well, is that I'm authentic, right? And I'm just saying what I feel like saying. And a lot of it is I'm saying what a lot of people don't feel like they can say. So I'm speaking up for people that don't have a voice, you know? And, people are tired of the polished politician. People are tired of the perfectly trimmed and the scholastic, all the graduates and all this stuff. You know, people just want real, honest family people in there, and workers and people that give a damn about the country. No. When did it ever come that you had to be a freaking lawyer or a doctor or something? You know, like this. Why do you need this super?
But that's
special
just it. But that's just it, right? It's more than your profession. It's the fact that you're part of this kids club, this cool kids club, right? All of these folks are going to the same schools, and so I've noticed, or I'm convinced that it doesn't matter if you're a plumber, if you're a lawyer, any of that stuff, as long as you went to that school and you made those bonds with those kids over there, they're pulling each other up. And so that's why we continue to see the same politicians. If it's not them, it's their kids or their best friends and their best friends' kids. So it's not necessarily what they do for a living, more than the parties that they go to.
Yes, exactly. And I think what you guys are doing, you know, is trying to spread the grassroots movement and get people out in front of the camera. And what social media is being able to do, I think we're kind of breaking that down a little bit, right? And people are, I don't know, if you guys probably see the same thing when you do social media. The more authentic and truthful that you are on that video or whatever you said, people will resonate with it, you know. And a lot of times people post something and they say, "Oh, Facebook is you know, trying to push back my views, or something didn't work and that's Facebook's fault, or it's Thread's fault, or whatever." No, whatever you said didn't resonate with the person that wanted to like and share, you know. So the more honest that you can be, the more truthful and vulnerable that you can be to people, the more that they'll appreciate and trust what you say.
That's a lot of people that we've had on the show. Russell Cleveland out of Montana, Kaya Creekmore out of North Carolina, Karen Ortiz out of New York, and yourself, Bernard Taylor, all of these
Matt
people.
Gromlick, who's running for Mike Johnson's seat. Shout out to him too.
They're people pleasers. Like they're the people. They're of the people. They understand what's going on down here in the community. They're not these politicians that are sitting there for decades, and they're being fed money from APAC and all these other places, and they worry about the people in the community, because those are the people that they want to actually represent and make change for. The people that are disingenuous I'm sure your opposition is the same. They're going to go out and say they're going to run some ad campaigns and they say vote for me, and then they're going to trash you, and then they know jack shit about you. But if the people that you're reaching out to on these platforms, your platform, and wherever you're connecting to, you're spreading the seeds, and those seeds are going to grow. And no matter where they gerrymander the line, those people are going to say, hey, it's going to spread, and the people you're connecting with are connecting with the people that they know. So it's an actual genuine organic growth. And
Yes.
once all these grassroots candidates are actually in place, then change is going to be made, and these people are terrified of what's going on right now.
Yeah, they're very scared. You know, and I'm running against Ron Buchanan in my district, and I think he's been the congressperson for 16 years straight now, and you know, and obviously, but he's worth somewhere like $900 million, and he lives on Longboat Key, and he lives on like an island, almost a private island, you know, that where all the rich people live, and he's so out of touch, you know.
Let me cut in real quick. Hey, everybody in Florida's 16th district, how many of you have a boat, a yacht, all those things? How many times have you been invited to the parties that this dude is throwing? How many times have you seen him at the grocery store?
Never.
Disconnected.
Yeah, I mean,
He's disconnected.
Well, I mean, we're begging him to do a town hall, and he won't leave his office, you know. But he posted on Facebook the other day that this is how out of touch these guys are. He posted on Facebook the other day that the big beautiful bill that they passed is going to save you up to $29,000 on your taxes. Okay, and I was like, wait a minute, it might save you, Vern, $29,000 on their taxes, but a lot of
I'm not even making $29,000 a year.
You're talking about $29,000. Like, what are you talking about? Save $29,000.
Are you still waiting for your dose check?
Yeah, exactly. That's how out of touch these people are, right?
Yeah.
And I just pop in and I say, this doesn't make any sense, Vern. And and then like all of a sudden my comment gets 50 likes and his comment hardly has any likes, you know? So
yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel it. I feel the pulse out there that people are starting to realize the truth, starting to realize that this Trump administration is crooked as get out, that they're corrupt, that they're not about America first.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I mean, you can sit here and be shitty all day and be upset about what's going on in the world, which I am obviously, but it just gives you such a good feeling when you're actually out there doing something about it, and you start to see some positivity, you know.
That's a big thing that I've seen in a lot of these candidates, man. Purpose, passion, joy. There's like a reinvigoration of like, there's a spark of hope, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's great to see, because all these guys in MAGA and the career politicians are all doom and gloom, and everything's like, everybody's we're all they're all just shitting on the whole side of that. We're trying, like, our grass. Hey, you know what? Well, you know what happens when you sit in the grass? Like, you're fertilizing it. So, like, go ahead, keep it coming. Man, you're in Bradenton too, right? Your area?
Yes. Yeah, right near Bradenton.
I got a lot of people in Bradenton, so I'm gonna start circulating this out. Bradenton, Brandon, that whole little area. So
cool.
And I don't think you're right. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's been an interesting ride, because my posts that I do on Facebook and Instagram and all that are very they're short, direct, and right through the chest of MAGA, like I was saying. But really, I mean, realistically, I'm just a pretty even-keeled guy, you know. So it's interesting that that's such aggressive behavior online. The largest group of followers that I have right now are women over the age of 65.
I saw that post this morning.
Yeah, and it's unreal, right? And these women are coming out swinging, you know. Like, if you just see it. And I've had parties at my house, and invited you know, like-minded people over to talk about the campaign and stuff like that. And I would say the majority of the people that attend those are women, you know. And then when you go to Democrat functions, when you go to different type of political functions, it seems like they're always led women, and it just seems like women, have seen it over the years. They've seen their rights then get rights and rights be taken away, and right now they're on that downslide of seeing that, whoa, some of my rights are getting taken away, and they're not happy.
Yeah. So you said that your opponent has been in office for, you said 16 years?
I think it's 16.
Yeah. Give MAGA a shot to the chest. What's your stance on term limits?
Oh, I'm 100% on term limits. So,
yeah,
and I say this because, like, I feel such a passion right now to make change. Okay, and I did not feel that passion last year. Yeah, I think it started last year. I didn't feel that passion 2 years ago. I didn't feel it 4 years ago or 10 years ago. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to feel that passion 10 years from now. Right? I might be. The country might be in better shape, and maybe my passion goes away that I need to fight so hard. Right? What I'm saying is, I am passionate right now, right? That I want to see change. I want to make change. That's who you need in Congress, are new, passionate people, right? And
yes,
so term limits
please.
Be a necessity, because if you do anything for X amount of years, it no longer becomes a passion, it becomes a job. And when you treat it like a job, then you're going to be influenced from outside sources that your passion would fight right through, right? So if you put passionate people into office, put new people into office, and get rid of those old people.
100%.
And then going to talking about the responsibilities of a member of the House of Representatives. If you have a representative that lives in that area and that wants to make change for the people in that area, it's clear. But if you're going into it as a business person and you have business interests, what do you think they're going to represent?
Right.
Are they going to help you? This is directly to the people in your area. Do you think a business person who is focused on being a successful business person is going to represent you the right way? Or do you want someone from your neighborhood who goes to your grocery stores? I'm assuming, Mark, that you don't have a huge boat.
I don't have any boat.
Okay. That being said, do you think Mark is going to take time to, like, maybe improve schools and then, like, take a look at all of the things that you guys are struggling with in that area? Or do you think a business person is going to say, buy more things and pull yourself up by the bootstraps?
Right. Yeah, it's I mean, and Vern Buchanan specifically on this point is he's almost a billionaire, and he's so out of touch. And I don't know if you guys know about the school problems in Florida, but we have this huge problem with our schooling in Florida. And Michael, I don't know how old your kids are. You said, how old's your kid?
13 and 17.
13 and 17. So yeah, you're right there. But our public schools are awful, right? And they're underfunded.
They're banning books.
Right. Yeah, they got
crazy
books. And the teachers are sick of it. And it would be, how many teachers are supporters of mine right now, especially in Parish, Florida, is unbelievable. Those teachers hate MAGA. But anyway, the public schools, to put your kid through baseball, or like I'm doing with my daughter with cheerleading, it just costs an arm and a leg, right? Like thousands and thousands of dollars. Everything does. When I was a kid and I wanted to do schools or sports at schools, my parents could hand me $20 and I'm good for like a year, right? Here, like, it's thousands and thousands of dollars. Everything you do, it's because everything is so spread out and there's no funding for anything, right? So now they got this thing called the Schools of Hope that they're passed. They already passed kind of like in the middle of the night in Florida, and it's a way for private schools to infiltrate public schools for free. Okay, and these private schools that are privately funded, that the profits go to a private company, are allowed to go inside of public schools, set up shop without paying the public schools anything, and teach those private students in the same schools as our public students. So they have a different curriculum. They have a different mindset. They have,
but they're in the same building.
They're walking the same halls, and they're using the public schools facilities, and they're not paying for it.
Have you had the opportunity to talk to any of the teachers that work on the private side of this argument?
I have not. I would love to see what what they think, that how they think that's a good idea.
Because yeah, that's wild. That's stealing. Just to be clear, that's stealing. You're going in. You're basically, what's it called when people stay in a house? Not shacking. Whatever.
Yeah, when they overstay their welcome.
And they just stay there, and then like all of a sudden they get to keep the house. Squatting.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is like scholastic squatting.
Yeah. Yeah. No joke. It's weird, right? And then, it's just, and a lot of these private schools have agendas that may or just be different from normal public schools, right? It just is what it is. So now these kids, how do they interact correctly? They're not even in the same school. One of them might be more religious, or it's just It's just bizarre. It's weird. It doesn't make sense. And there's so many policies like that are coming down from MAGA, that are coming down from Republicans, that are coming down from Florida, that just do not make any sense whatsoever. They're not thought through. There's no thought put into policy at all. We just need to get away from this whole MAGA mindset and just get back to reality.
Truly, because breaking a school system, breaking all of these social safety nets, that's not America first. That's business people first. That's private schools first. That's not going to make America great.
That shit is infuriating.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. I got, it's bad enough they want to divide everything, but when you're going to school with somebody that like I'm going to class, and the next thing you know, they're going off into a little area, and they come, you know what I'm saying? And
they have their own lunch area. They don't want to hang out with the poors.
It's bad. Like as a parent, there's functions, you go, they got Christmas concerts and shit like that. And then next thing you know, the parents are talking. I can only imagine if someone slips up and says the wrong thing, how much, like, my wife will go down to the office and raise hell and go to the board, and like it doesn't stop. It's like Mark with his campaign. She will flip every table in the building until she gets an answer. And I could only imagine. Like, man, this is fucked up, man.
Oh yeah, it's insane. And then and then like you were saying, the different class, like wealth, right? And what the problem is when you take wealthy children, I hate to say wealthy children, but wealthy families away from public schools, there goes that money, right? That they would donate. There goes, but also there goes opportunity for less fortunate children, right? Because the less fortunate children get the benefits of more fortunate children in public schools, and that's just how it works, right? And that's how we lift up our environment.
Right. That's how you make that's how you develop a child to not be that much of a douchebag. You expose them. You expose them to the folks that can't go to private school,
right?
And then hopefully, if that child that's going to the private school half of the school, hey, dum, your parents are stealing from the public. Anyway, moving back to
in plain sight.
You have to expose people to different cultures and different things, so you see that it's not that scary.
Right. Yeah.
Like, what was it, like half hour ago, 45 minutes ago, Mark, you didn't know me from a box of Ritz crackers. You didn't know me from anything. But if someone told you there's this dude that's from Chicago that might have a little bit of an attitude, you get a little nervous. But now that you know me, you're like, this dude is cool. Well, hopefully you'd be like, this coolest dude. This dude is cool as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just that simple.
I mean, you're just going to have a bunch of Stephen Millers running around,
Oh my goodness.
I can't wait to get him in a celebrity boxing match.
Oh, that guy is so
He is my mouth salivates. No diddy for that dude. No diddy.
Every time I look at him, he's just like a gooey, messy, pig belly.
I say he looks like a plastic bag full of mashed potatoes.
Little mini me face on it.
I shared a video the other day of him when he was like 17 or 18, and he was talking about how in the future we need to get to torturing other countries, and torture is good as long as just some crazy Nazi psychotic shit, you know.
It's crazy. And he's Jewish.
Yeah. Unreal. Yeah, that guy's
how wild is it that we live on a timeline where you have a Jewish dude talking exactly like the people that killed his people?
Yeah. Did you hear his speech when he gave it after Charlie Kirk's death? Jeez.
You don't build anything. You don't make anything.
Yeah.
I bet I can make my foot go up your ass.
Oh man. Yeah. There's one person I like to have in a room. Oh.
His wife is just as nasty too, man. His wife is just as nasty, and she tries to go on all these talk shows.
She's upset because she's stuck with his ass.
She's like, "Oh, you don't like me, so you don't like any Jews." And it's like, wait a minute, like, hold on, pump the brakes. What are you? A little trigger there, I see. Like, I could only imagine what a kid, like, if they're having dinner together, what that conversation is like. It's just, it makes me sick. It makes me feel like Ace Ventura when he found out Einhorn was a man.
Yeah.
Just dirty.
And if that's your thing, that's cool. Just don't surprise people with it.
Let me ask you a question, Carlos. You being in California, and what part of California are you in?
Up north.
Okay.
Northern California. Yeah.
So you kind of got a little bit more of a liberal viewpoint than we do here in Florida. When you look at Florida, like what do you think? Do you think we're just gonna fall off the map, or like what are you guys thinking of Florida right now?
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I couldn't wait to use this line. You might be the first person that actually asked me a really good question like this. California is looking at the entire rest of the country. Understand, this is the fourth largest economy in the world, and I believe we're creeping up on 3 now. California, they want to help because they can help. But if you red states continue to fuck around and this whole thing falls apart, we're going to be straight. We're going to be straight. The fourth largest economy in the world don't give 2 shits if this thing falls apart. Now, when we look at Florida to us, well, depending on who you talk to, obviously there's this sibling rivalry between California and Texas. But like Florida is like the little brother that doesn't shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You understand when we're done with the big brother, you understand we're coming for you.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. We don't know how to shut the fuck up.
And that's just it. And that's just it. Like we coming from the and I don't even consider myself like there's liberalism is a spectrum. Because there's folks out here that they want to feed the planet, and then there are other ones that are like that financially dumb. But then we look at Florida and we're like, it's just a bunch of kids playing in mud. And
the sad thing about Florida is that it's such a beautiful place. And
I agree. It is so fun there.
It's so much fun. You can go anywhere at any time.
Yep.
You know, if I wanted to jump in the pool right now, I could.
The food is delicious.
Food is so good. Like the environment, Miami, you know. Anyway, it's beautiful place to be, and a lot of the people
They
are
have beautiful
great.
boats, you know, all those rich people that continue to run for office for 16 years that have those big ass boats. They live out there. That's pretty cool.
They do. But I couldn't say enough, you know, just about being here just makes you feel younger and more vibrant, you know. But like, we just got to get rid of this MAGA problem, and we're going to get rid of them. I think they're just going to, like I said, the other earlier, I had a lunch with a 3-time Trump supporter, and he reached out to me, and we went over some issues and went back and forth on email, and he said he wanted to talk to me. So we went to Starbucks and we had a coffee, and he voted for Trump 3 times in a row, and he is done with Trump, you know. So I don't know, man. I feel positive. There's a lot of people in comments that say stupid shit, but you talk to people and you break them down. People are pretty much right in the center. Most people, right?
Yeah.
And they want to get rid of the far right nonsense, and even the far left nonsense, right? They just want to get back to some sort of normalcy. And I honestly think that we're going to get there. So
let me ask you the reverse of that. Hang on.
Okay,
Let me ask you the reverse of that. Coming from Florida, when you look at California, what do you guys see?
Oh, that's a good, man. I should have thought about that before I asked you my question.
Take your time. I'm here all day.
No, honestly, I mean, when I look at California, like when I started this fight like 11 months ago or whatever it was, and I had 0 followers 11 months, I saw people, you guys maybe not know him, like Attorney Ryan. He's out in California, and he was posting some stuff, and you know, obviously Mark Ruffalo, and a lot of the posts that I saw that got me fired up to get going, you know, came out from the West, you know. So I kind of looked to California, and then you had Gavin Newsom that was the first one to hold up the mirror against Donald Trump, you know, and do that whole thing. So I kind of looked to California as kind of like our last hope, and like, hey, you guys, it's California, right? And they've had issues, obviously, with homelessness and blah blah blah, but they're the 4th largest economy. People love it out there in California.
Do you guys have problems with homelessness?
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
crazy, right?
But not
crazy, right?
But not. You don't, and I don't know. And Michael, maybe I don't see it that often. Do you?
So what I see is there is a homeless problem, but what happened is that a lot of the people that moved down here to retire can't afford to live here anymore.
Right.
So what they decided to do was leave. I've seen a lot of that, or they're trying to get into like renting rooms and stuff like that. They're actively trying to. They're not helping any point whatsoever these people's lives that are homeless, or capping rent or anything like that. And a lot of them have decided to leave. I've noticed that. That's why the seasons aren't here anymore like they used to, at least on the East Coast. There's a lot of snowbirds that would fly down, come down for 6 months, and that's not really here. So that's what I've noticed.
And then Carlos, on the opposite side, you know, we do see that. We do see the homelessness, and we do see the constant drug problems or whatever that we're just blasted with on. Who knows if it's real, but we're blasted with it in the news and on social media. You know, so that is a little bit of a barrier for Floridians to look at California and say, help us too, you know, because they don't do that. So you got to be careful. You go too far.
So the homelessness in LA is crazy. Like they have a whole that Skid Row thing. That's real. Yeah. But you have to look at I live close to San Francisco, and in San Francisco, yes, we do have homeless people. We do have people struggling with drugs and all that stuff. But what they don't tell you in Florida is here in San Francisco, we have robots that will drive you instead of an Uber, whatever. We have a robot that will take you from here to there, right? We also have robots that go around 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning sweeping the streets. So yeah, from what I understand, almost all homeless people poop in the streets, but at least San Francisco has robots that clean that stuff.
That's good. That's
Right?
fantastic. Yeah.
In LA, you have to look at a lot of the external things that are happening. People have rushed to LA to be a movie star and a singer and all that stuff. But then what might happen is, you know, you're on a shoestring budget, and people are working, they're waiting tables and they're doing all that stuff, waiting for a gig to kick in, right? But what we're finding out is all of those jobs that you could be doing for the film industry, all of those jobs have gone overseas.
Mhm.
There's a lot of jobs that we Americans could be doing, but you have to pay us a living wage. So what they do is they go overseas. So now everyone is looking for a job. They're all overseas. Now you can't pay your rent. Now you have to get out. Now what do you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
If I didn't have enough money to pay my rent, I don't know if I have enough money for a U-Haul to take my ass back to wherever I have, where I don't have a job there either.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just point at homeless people and say, ooh, look, that homeless person is dirty and does drugs and all this stuff. You have to look at the external influences that made that person get there.
Yeah. And we're going to have to do something about AI, because that's going to exacerbate the problem, you know, and we haven't really. Yeah. I mean, we haven't really addressed that as a government, you know, about what are we going to do? Everybody loses their job, because there's going to be a lot of people out there.
I was in Florida at the end of 2025, and I was having these conversations with people that live in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, the person said something about robots aren't even close to taking our jobs. I said, oh, back when in 2006, 7, 8, I was still in Chicago working at a huge advertising agency. And then somehow I got to work on some McDonald's stuff. And then I got to go to the McDonald's restaurant where you just walk in with a credit card. You yourself tap the buttons, and then machines make the food, and then you go grab your bag and you go sit your ass down.
Mm-hmm.
So you tell me how AI and robots haven't affected your jobs.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So AI is coming in, and they all gas, no brakes.
Oh, and it's. Do you guys use it at all? Do you guys use AI?
I use AI to replace C-level managers.
Yeah.
I build business plans. I build all that stuff, you know, because what's funny is those C-level managers and the CEOs and CFOs and all those guys will tell you, the creatives and the people that are actually doing the work are lazy, they're stupid, they're dumb, they're not worth it, and all this stuff. Your president said that, MAGA. Your president said that you're dumb and you're stupid.
Yeah.
So, be ready to be replaced with AI.
Yeah, it just seems like so much is being consolidated there. Like, I don't really use Chrome as much, like Google, as much as I did. Just so easy, just so fast, you know. They tell you everything. No,
and they're
I don't know about that. It's cool, but I worry about it. Yeah. What'd you say?
Nice. And it's nice. Like if you talk to ChatGPT and it's, oh, that's a great idea. I'm like, never have I ever heard those words from people that I talk to.
Right. That's the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard. Yeah.
Mark,
it's unreal.
Mark, I got a question. I noticed on your profile that you're running as an independent or a non-affiliate party affiliate. Well, what's the reason? What's the reason behind that?
So, to be honest, the real reason is because in Florida, you have to be a registered Democrat 365 days before qualifications to be able to run as a Democrat. And I was an NPA when I came to Florida, because I was in business and I didn't want people to know I was a Democrat. And so I went to NPA because it's so easy for you to look up if people are a Democrat in Florida or what their party affiliation is. But anyway, I was late to switch it over. I didn't do it until like April or something, and I had to be like in March. So I had to run as a NPA, but it's kind of beneficial because I've been able to talk to a lot of Republicans that are not going to vote for a Democrat, and for whatever reason, even though I'm a Democrat, but it's, I'm running as NPA, they're willing to talk to me at least, so I'm getting a lot of different support from a lot of different areas because I'm not displaying that Democrat logo anywhere.
Do you wear that hat that you wore, the white hat, when you're out there talking to people?
Oh yeah, like I got these hats all the time, man. Like Trump is all over the Epstein files, or yeah, immigrants make America
got that
great.
bad boy locked and loaded.
Oh, dude, the front of my car is an 8647 license plate. Yeah, on my Camaro. So, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but I'm the guy that yelled at Ron DeSantis in July. So Ron DeSantis was in Bradenton, okay, and he had a press briefing, and there was CBS there, NBC, all the cameras, and somehow I got into the room where Ron DeSantis was talking, and he started talking about Hulk Hogan because Hulk Hogan had just passed away, and so I just interrupted him, and you could, like, it's viral, it's all over. I just interrupted him, and I was like, Ron, I was like, is Alligator Alcatraz your legacy, or is Alligator Alcatraz your fucking legacy? And then I was like, you bow down to a pedophile? Are you a pedophile? And then I called the room a bunch of Nazis and walked out.
Ooh, yeah. Let's go.
Congratulations on the escape.
You got to look up the clip and you got to play it, or whatever you post this.
100%. Well, what's it, man? So you're taking that fire with you all over the trail, man. Like, what is it like? What is it like sitting in these rooms with these people that, like that are just siphoning every ounce of soul from people, and you have to have some sort of restraint, right? Like when you're conducting when you're conducting in these situations, but how do you know when to turn that shit on like that, man? Like,
well, I mean, that was in July last year, and realistically, I did that because I was tired of nobody doing anything, and I was trying to create a spark and trying to get people excited about talking back to power, to show people that these are just people, and you can talk back to them, you can talk down to them, And I walk home. I didn't get arrested. I walked home, So, but anyway,
Cliff Cash and all those guys say that same thing. Cliff Cash and all those guys say the same thing too. They're just normal, and you can tell them that they're, all those things.
They're not shit.
Yeah, exactly. And then,
sorry for cutting you off.
No, that gives you confidence, And I mean, I feel like I can walk into any. I could do a stadium sold out tomorrow, and speak. I don't know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say something. But I'm not going to be afraid. That's how much like freaking energy and passion I have right now, right? But anyway, that's what initially sparked the campaign, because that got spread. That actually went on MSNBC, and it went all over Twitter and all over the place. And that my following was like doubled right away after that. And then I decided to run for Congress after that, So I was trying to make sure that moment didn't define me, because I didn't want to be thought of like this crazy guy that yelled at Ron DeSantis. And then I kind of worked it into my campaign, and people resonated with it. So
nice.
Man, that fool just re-diverted $35 million.
Yeah.
How does that shit happen?
Yeah, I mean, but he did it to advertise anti-marijuana. 4 and 2. Yeah, anti-marijuana and abortion. And abortion, yeah, just crooks, man. That's all these guys are, and they have all this access to all this money and all this power, and that's what they do for a living. You know what I mean? Like that's their job.
Let me point this out. Mark, you said that the guy that you're running against has been in, again, I'm going to bring this up again. He's been in office for 16 years, and for 16 years he's telling you how corrupt the government is.
Right.
But you've been here for 16 years. It ain't us.
Almost
what are you doing?
What
are you doing? You're the crook.
Right. Just get out. You know, like, and he's I don't know if you've seen the guy, but he's like 75 years old. He has no facial expressions because he pumps his forehead full of Botox. You know, I guarantee you, and I guarantee you, the government is spending money on his freaking Botox. You know, that's probably he probably gets free healthcare, and it's all going into his freaking forehead. But I mean, he's and somebody, but he has like this blank stare in his eyes, like he's not quite there. Like you have to kind of wave him down, you know.
Yeah,
it's like, why are you there?
It seems like him, Rick Scott, like DeSantis, Brian Mast, all these people that are coming. Oh, Matt Gaetz, like all these. Oh, that's another one that doesn't have expression.
And remember, Rick Scott got busted for the biggest. What was it? The biggest Medicare scam ever in history.
Yeah.
And they say, hey, the government is corrupt. Yeah, no shit.
We need him in the office.
What are we doing?
I guess my point is like, why do we need career politicians? I don't understand it.
Right.
Like I just want to get back to the day where, you know, I kind of think of the old days, you know, like the farmer just got pissed off and he put down his hoe for a season, and then he went to the office and he made some rules, and then he went back to go farming, right? That's kind of how I envision America being. Not the farmer traded in his overalls for a fucking suit, right? And a private jet. That's not representing America.
Right.
Put people in awesome, passionate.
Yeah, it works. Why does the NFL work? And everyone watches it. It's the same approach. The NFL is built in a way where you do your job, you're a receiver, and then when you're done, you retire, and the young guy comes up and takes your job, does that, and then the young guy comes up and takes that, and then the young guy comes up and takes that. Yep. The only reason this government doesn't make sense to people is because that's not how it's supposed to be run. If you want a really good shortcut as to see how a government can work and eventually take over without any bombs or anything, look at the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect. It's a perfect example. I throw the NFL in people's faces all the time when they talk about corruption and all this stuff. How is it supposed to work? The NFL. The president of the country is the same as like the commissioner. Commissioner shouldn't be going into each and every team to say that wide receiver did something, so we need to take his money. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You're not going to see a wide receiver catching footballs for 35 years. It's not how it works.
That'd be a shitty.
It might work that way with LeBron James in the NBA though, man. He's going forever.
Yeah, he's still not the GOAT though.
He's one of those guys that and he can still do it. He's still putting up numbers. He's still doing it.
Yeah, he's looking good.
I think he's trash, but you know that's just
That's just
me. That's just me. It's MJ. It's MJ, then Kobe, and then like look, I wouldn't kick LeBron off my team.
No,
if he's around.
I mean, you know what I mean. I'm picking LeBron before I pick Chauncey Billups.
Mark, I know you got to bounce in a bit, man.
Yeah.
What's your message to anybody in earshot like to your constituents on how you're going to make some change in your district?
Yeah, you know, and my policies. I'm a different candidate. I look at a brick wall, and I think that I just have to run through it if I need to get on the other side, right? I'm a mad dog, but at the end of the day, it's my policies that stand out, and that's I want single payer healthcare. I want free college tuition. I want equal rights for all. I want common sense gun laws. You know, I want ICE gone, fucking gone. But you know, it's not all just yelling in a camera. That I've built businesses. I've been in meeting rooms where I've seen crooked power go wrong, and I know how to push back against it. I know how to build a movement, and I can really make some fucking change, I think, in Congress if you just let me through the doors and help me get to Washington, D.C. So if you just go to markdavisforcongress.com, you can donate. I always tell people, we have the numbers. Like I said, we have about 200,000 followers right now. If we just get $2 from all of our followers, you know, we would win. And people are stepping up big time. And literally, this is grassroots. If you have $2, if you think you can afford $2 on my campaign, just give it to me, man. And that stuff adds up, and we're using that for fuel to go against Vern Buchanan and make some change. And I kind of built my candidacy to be the candidate that I would vote for. That's kind of who I kind of built myself around. And so that's who you're getting, is somebody that is super freaking passionate right now to make some change. And passion is, I think, what we need in Congress right now. So.
Mark Davis, Florida District 16. Thank you, sir, for coming on and explaining to us a little bit what's happening in Florida. Florida, we're gonna get you right. We're gonna get Mark in here.
Yeah, we're gonna get Florida right. You know, I already posted something earlier today that said Florida is no longer MAGA stomping ground. So things are changing. It's no longer their playground. So let's go.
Let's go.
Thanks again, sir. Thanks again, sir, for coming on and talking. I saw that little Frenchie over there. Give that Frenchie a belly rub for me.
Will do.
Thanks again, both of you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Mark.
And with that, we're out.